everyone, it's Celeste and welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about cosplay! I teach you tutorials on how to make the outfit, how to do the makeup so you can become the character of your dreams. Today's character is Hestia from Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? This is such a really interesting anime, and this is from season 1. I'm not jumping ahead, and that way you don't see something from season 2. Season 2 came out earlier this year, and no, this is not a sponsored video, but I really loved Hestia's outfit. I was really scared about making this for a long time because I didn't know how I wanted to make this and what materials. Sometimes you just gotta go for it, and this time I made it without spending any money. As in, I used nothing but scrap materials, so I made this costume. I'm really happy how this costume came out, especially using recycled materials. So, if you need to buy your own materials, don't feel bad, it's okay. And make sure that you're going to have fun while wearing this cosplay. Make sure to never miss out on any of my new content by subscribing by clicking the red button down below to become a member of my pincushion called YouTube. I'm Hestia today. I don't have a wig with pigtails, so I'm just going to use my own pigtails. Feel free to buy a wig. Highly recommend you get a wig for this. I mean, I have half a wig. Does that count? Okay, anyways, besides that, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Boom! Who's excited? So let's go ahead and do this little ribbon piece. It's the easiest part. It would be nice if I was using this color because this is what I own. So we're going to grab our ribbon. Unravel it a little bit. Go ahead. It looks like, so when she stands this way. Now that you have a nice snug ribbon around you, tie a loose bow, and then you will be done with the ribbon around your body. I mean, at least for now until we get the dress made. With this nice pleather material. It's a little stretchy. I need it to be stretchy on this side, not the length side. So I'm going to be cutting out my glove pattern from here. I like using Yaya Han's glove pattern, and I usually use J. So go ahead and lay out your fabric following the directions and then pin your pattern down. When your pattern is secured to the fabric, cut it out. Once you're done cutting it all out, begin to sew together your gloves. I'm going to try my glove on first. This way I know that I didn't miss any of the edges, especially the fingers. When you're done with that, go ahead and turn your glove inside out and push out the fingers. If you need to, grab a tool to help you push out the fingertips. I used a knitting needle for mine. Be careful not to use a pen because you might color the inside and stain it. These are the 2 completed gloves. Now we just have to detail them by cutting off the edges so we make the exact shape of Hestia's. Lay your gloves down flat on top of each other. Cut off any excess on the height that you want off. Now go ahead and start cutting in little triangles at the hemline. You want to do small amounts first before cutting out big amounts and then regretting it. It's easier to take away from big parts versus cutting in too much. For me, I only made about a few cuts and I had maybe 4 triangles, perfect for my gloves. Because I have a lot of scraps, I'm going to be using this for the hair pieces. I'm going to use scrap foam and turn it into this shield shape design, and I'm going to use a lot of the leftover white material. Here's a close-up. I like to fold over my foam so it's perfect and symmetrical on both sides. Then I'm going to shape up the edges slowly instead of cutting it out super fast. Remember to shape these leaves to the size of your head. They might be bigger than mine. And remember to cut out 6 of these. Ideally, we want to make this kind of shape after we attach the fabric. When you're happy with your overall shape and design, go ahead and cut out the rest of the 6. I'm using scrap foam because I want to make the most out of all the materials I own. When you're done, go ahead and begin to cut it out. After I cut out all my shapes, I cover them with white material using hot glue. You only need to cover one side. Earlier, I mentioned that I'm going to be using a different dark blue material for the blue on this costume, so this was it. It is a nice blue satin that I also used for my lapis lazuli costume. Now begin cutting out 1-inch strips. We want this to go around the little pieces we just cut out for the hair pieces. Make sure to burn your edges so that way it does not fray. Go ahead and begin using your hot glue and draw a line onto your little leaf piece. Then we're going to apply the blue ribbon, kind of like bias tape, on one side and then wrap around to the other side using hot glue to seal it. So I actually got this wrong. You don't have to go around the entire perimeter, but I'm going to show you anyways because I messed up and I don't want you to mess up. You only need to go at the bottom of the leaves. This is what it's supposed to look like. I glued down one side first and then did the other side. At the top I added hot glue, pinched it, and waited till it cooled down. Then I had a perfect little leaf. Now I'm going to show you how to assemble this little barrette piece. What you want to do is find the order of which you want to place your leaf. Because I have one with full blue borders, I'm putting that at the bottom. Now we're going to use hot glue again and stick them all together in the positions that we want. Make sure to hold these in place for a few seconds to make sure they truly adhere to each other. Hestia has these weird gray things that go underneath her tails, so what we're going to do is use some extra scrap material and then cut them out. The measurements that I'm using are 1.5 inches for the widest side and 1 inch for the thinner side. You'll need to cut out 4 of each to make 2 rectangles for your head. Once you have your pieces, go ahead and use the hot glue gun and assemble them into a nice rectangle box. Just a little side note, I did mess up when making this, but foam is forgiving to work with and I fixed it right away. I grabbed a paintbrush and some Mod Podge to prime my foam. There are many different ways of doing this, but because this is a very small and simple costume, I just went with Mod Podge. Coat the boxes evenly with Mod Podge 2 times. When that has dried, go ahead and use some black acrylic paint and then cover the boxes with that. Once you can't see any of the paint anymore, we're going to be painting it with some silver metallic paint. Go ahead and paint it metallic silver until you're happy and it's fully covered. Don't forget to paint insides as well. I'm going to be using 2 hairpins per flower piece. I'm putting 1 on each side. These are extra large, by the way. I'm going to add a dollop of hot glue at the top edge of the hairpiece. Then I'm going to slowly push in the hairpin, making sure that it stays in place. I also cut a small little hole into the fabric itself to help secure it. This way it won't pop off and it won't fall out. I have a lot of extra salvage edge, so this gives me that freedom to do that. And I can add a little bit more hot glue so it does not fall off. Repeat this process 3 more times to complete your little leaflets for your hair. Now that the silver paint is finally dry, I'm attaching hairpins to the boxes with clear packing tape. I decided not to use glue because I didn't want to risk it coming off and that I wanted to keep it smooth to my head. I'm putting it in at an angle onto the box and then slowly wrapping the tape around it. This is going to keep it in place and make sure to get all of the air bubbles out so it sticks to the box completely. Then you're done with the hair pieces. While working on another upcoming cosplay, I left out a pattern piece specifically for this one. This is from pattern 2341 from Simplicity, and this is going to be what I use for the color base. I like this because it already has the measurements that I need, it goes around my neck, and it flares out, kind of like a mini circle. So what I'm going to do is cut it out twice. Remember, this material does not fray. Now I'm going to line up the edges, bring it to the sewing machine, and sew it together. This is what it looks like right now. Kind of looks like a Peter Pan collar gone pilgrimy, but this is perfect for what we're going for. Now lay it on top of itself and make sure that the top hemline is matching. Go ahead and begin cutting out little triangles from the bottom and make sure it's varying in size. With the remaining scrap fabric, cut a piece long enough on the fold to create a wide choker. Mine is about 4 inches wide. Once you have the choker top piece cut out, cut small triangles from one of the sides. When you're finished, open it. Grab the first piece that you made and pin it together, making sure that the middle of this new choker piece lines up with the seam, and then sew it all together. Look what this dog did. He made a mess. He pulled out all the clothes inside there and then made his own little bed. Ugh, needy dog you. With the remaining blue scrap material that I have, I'm going to be making a bow. This bow is going to be 3 parts. I'm going to have one big bow piece for the center, one piece to tie it all together, and one piece for the ribbons to fall down. If you want a quick tutorial on that, let me know. I can make a very fast one so you can have perfect bows for all your cosplays. Make sure to cut a very long strip of blue and then sew it down on top of your collar. To finish off the choker, I'm using a needle and thread to attach the bow. Try your hardest to hide the stitches so they are not visible. Then I used a hook and eye closure to secure it down, thus finishing the choker. Next up is the dress. I went to my dress form and I used a plastic bag as my dummy mock-up. I didn't cut it out just yet, but I want to make sure that it lays perfectly straight and I have a perfect pattern. I don't have any duct tape, but I do have packing tape. Make sure to recycle anything that you can so you don't really have to spend any money on extra things. Sometimes the most creativity comes from the things that surround you. Once I have the dress form prepped, I'm going to go ahead and start drawing out the pattern. I made sure to keep a reference close by. I made the V-neck first before started anything else. This pattern in particular is 3 pieces, front, back, and a side piece. When making patterns, make sure to label if it's on a fold or not. I drew the flared edges just for spacing. I won't follow them exactly as I draw them out, but I will to some degree. Once I'm happy with how my pattern looks, I'm going to cut it off of the dress form, making sure that I cut out only just as much as I need, and remember that I need to go around the triangle pieces and not cut it out individually. I'm using a thick white pleather for my dress material. I won't have to worry about hemming and the sheerness of this material, so no leaking underwear. I'm pinning it down and then cutting it out following the pattern that I've created. For the actual flared triangular crazy part, I only cut around it. I didn't cut it out to exact parts just yet. After I cut everything out, I went back and slowly cut triangles out of the area that I just drew the triangles to be in. You can see that I didn't exactly follow where it would be, but I did cut around some of the areas that I thought it would work the best. I varied in size and width on these triangles that I cut out. Make sure to cut out only the front of the dress and then the side of the dress leading down to the waistline. You don't want to cut the back piece at all. Now that all the pieces are ready, go ahead and begin to sew them together. Well, that was quite the little cosplay, wouldn't you agree? I didn't think that it would take me that long to explain everything, but this has gotten to be a very long video. Anyways, have you ever really thought about the title of the anime? Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? You know, for us perverts out there, that's a very dangerous title. I just added myself as a pervert. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this costume. This costume is meant for warmer weather. I did try to get this out before I left for my wedding. Didn't work out so well. So leave me a comment down below telling me what cold weather cosplays I should be making and putting out on my channel. It is going to be November and December soon, so I need to bundle up when doing my photo shoots and not freezing to death. So make sure to check out some of my other cosplays here or here listed around me. Leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, and remember to stay inspired, be creative, and I will see you in a future video. Bye!